What's your core ideology, if there is one thing, and how are you different from other national and regional parties in India?
Because we've been formed because of an issue, because of a great dissent in a large section of the population. So I think constitution is our guiding force.
Yeah, did you have any idea how big this movement would grow, and if at all it came as a surprise? How are you managing this stuff?
A genuine critique from people who have been in the field, who have been associated with movements for many decades now. So we keep our ears to the ground and try to sense the pulse of the people. That is how we stay grounded.
Why education when there are so many other issues to cover in the country like unemployment, which I'll be in a couple of months?
And therefore education is that, because of all the issues that there is, we have chosen systematically to focus on this sector for now.
You have promised 50% reservation for women, and we cannot see a single person in your spokesperson list as a woman.
And naturally, when Abhijit reached out to 2-3 women to come on as spokeswomen, they declined, but they said that we fully support the movement and will work in whatever capacity possible, but not public facing.
So I can see you are demanding the resignation of Education Minister to take accountability.
Yes.
What happens if he doesn't resign?
Our demand is his resignation for sure. If he does not resign, then our demand will be even bigger, that the Prime Minister should be sacking him from the cabinet.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತರು, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಕರು ಹಾಗೂ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ದೇಶಾದ್ಯಂತ ಚರ್ಚೆಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಸವಾಗಿರುವ ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಮುಖ್ಯ ವಕ್ತಾರರು. ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತರು, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕುರಿತು ವಿಸ್ತೃತವಾಗಿ ವರದಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಖ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯಮೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದ ಧನಂಜಯ್ ಚಂದ್ರಚೂಡ್ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯಮೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದರು, ತೀವ್ರ ವಿವಾದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ಧನಂಜಯ್ ಚಂದ್ರಚೂಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಕ್ಯಾರವಾನ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಕವರ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ತುಂಬ ಕಾಲ ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿಯುವಂಥದ್ದು. ದೇಶದ ಯುವಜನರನ್ನು ಕಾಡಿರುವ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು, ರಾಜಕೀಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ತಲೆಮಾರಿನ ಪಾತ್ರ, ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಉದಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ದೇಶಾದ್ಯಂತ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಚಳುವಳಿ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಏನು, ಅದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳೇನು, ಅದರ ಕುರಿತು ಇರೋ ಟೀಕೆಗಳೇನು ಹಾಗೂ ಮುಂದಿನ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ದಿಕ್ಕುಗಳೇನು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಶನ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಸಹಕರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿ ವಿನಂತಿ. ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ eedina.com ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಯು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಜೆನ್ ಝಿಯ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಅವರು ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಅವರು ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈಸ್ ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಬಿ.
You see that I am getting being unemployed in few months.
Shortly is going to be unemployed.
Okay.
So, first question to Mr. Das. Could you please enlighten our viewers about your journey from journalism to becoming the spokesperson of Cockroach Jnata Party?
I see. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be talking to you folks, and massive respect for all the work that you do, especially here. These are very tough times for journalism in general. So salute to you, all of you, for doing what you do. Like you mentioned, I'm also a journalist, and activism has always been in my blood, I would say. Ever since I was a child, I used to be very active to voice my concerns about my locality, about the roads in my locality. I used to go to officers, meet them as a child studying in 8th, 9th, 10th standard. Used to go and question them why the potholes have not been repaired. So all the questioning authority came very easily to me, and I was always like that. So it makes natural sense that I would, attach myself to people's movements. And I've been very vocal on social issues as well. I am quite active on social media, on Twitter especially. So I keep commenting on legal issues, of course, but also whatever else is going on in the activism space as well. So I've always been associated with these kind of movements and protests. So when the call came for being the chief spokesperson at CJP, I thought, this is quite natural for me, and I think I can do justice to the role. So that's how I got into it.
It's essentially you have been speaking truth to the power.
Right. That has been my attempt.
Your attempt.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, what inspired the formation of Cockroach Jnata Party?
So, of course, there were the comments of the Chief Justice of India, Surya Kant. In the comment, he actually berated the youth of this country and said that young people have become like cockroaches and parasites who try to attack the system from all the sides and are unemployed and therefore become RTI activists, media, etc. So that came as a very rude shock to the people of this country, especially the younger population, who are already facing so many problems because of the current system, which is completely rotten to the core. The number of exam paper leaks that have been happening, the joblessness, unemployment, inflation. So there are so many of these issues that they face on a regular basis. So when this comment came from a judge who's supposed to be, this guardian of your rights, somebody who you think would always speak the right thing, would take your side of the people of this country, of the law, of the constitution, for him to make such intemperate remarks, I think that was very shocking for the people. And therefore, when this comment came out, there was a lot of condemnation against the Chief Justice. And Abhijit Dipke actually put out a tweet saying that what if all the cockroaches united? And that tweet went viral, and then the Cockroach Jnata Party was born. It was born as a satire, but there was once the following increased so much in a few number of days, there were calls from all sides for it to become something more substantial, not just an online campaign, but also something on the ground. So now you see us coming on the ground, mobilizing youth across the country, and trying to create a brighter and better
sort
future.
Of history has been created.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, did you had any idea how big this movement would grow, and if at all it came as a surprise? How are you managing the stuff?
It of course came as a surprise because 22 million followers on Instagram, it's no easy feat. I don't think it has happened in recent history with any individual or a party for that matter. People have thrown in crores of rupees to get any kind of following. But for us to get 22 million organically without spending even a penny, I think that really indicates how rotten the system has gotten and how unhappy the youth, the next generation of this country is. So, of course, it was a surprise to all of us, but in our hearts, we always knew that we need to be very responsible because we have a medium now, and we need to use it for the best future possible. So how are we handling it? We are staying rooted. We take a lot of feedback. We take a lot of we look at a lot of critical feedback that we get, and a genuine critique from people who have been in the field, who have been associated with movements for many decades now. So we keep our ears to the ground and try to sense the pulse of the people. That is how we stay grounded.
Okay, we are seeing such a massive crowd in protest. I'm actually asking how are you managing the ground level?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of volunteers. People keep asking, how is it that a party that is born 20 days ago is able to, garner such a huge crowd? To them, I would say that there are very good people in the world still existing. And people realize that somebody is trying to do something good and they are automatically attracted. There's something called vibration also, that I think a lot of people are not realizing that good vibes attract good vibes. And when we put out this call for protest, there are civil society groups, student groups who themselves come forward and say that we want to support you. So they have their resources, they pull in their resources. And it's anyway done everything quite organically without very low expenditure. So all of that is managed amongst ourselves. We have a long list of volunteers every city that we go to, and everybody comes with just one cause in their mind and hearts, which is to seek a better tomorrow and an accountable system, and at the same time the message of a peaceful gathering in a land of Gandhi. I think that is very well within our hearts. So that's why we are able to maintain peace along with uh, putting forward our demands in the best way possible.
What's your core ideology, if there is one thing, and how are you different from other national and regional parties in India?
You asked what is our core?
Core ideology,
Yeah.
if there is
Right.
ideology.
We have been quite frank about it. We've been formed as a satire, and after satire, we wanted to do something more responsible, something more impactful, and that's why we've become a movement. I think all of us at the CJP, and not just people who are public faces of the CJP, but everyone working with the CJP and everybody who supports CJP also. I think one thing is very clear: our ideology is the Constitution. We are seeking an equal system, a just system, a fair system, equality before law. So freedom of speech and expression, the freedom to assemble peacefully, and freedom to right to life and liberty. Because what else? What other ideology do we need at this point? Because we've been formed because of an issue, because of a great dissent in a large section of the population. So I think Constitution is our guiding force.
How are you different from other regional and national parties?
I think what happens when you are part of a system, you get co-opted by it. I think a lot of parties, a lot of people who start off as leaders, they start off on a great note. But once they become part of the system, I think the system seduces them into their own fold, and therefore, I think people just lose their way. I think what we bring is a lot of freshness, a lot of rawness, which we are trying to channelize in a very positive way. I think that is the way to go. And in time, because we have kept it leaderless, so that there is not one person or two-person controlling the entire movement. Decisions are taken on a consensus. Everybody discusses. There are other people who may not be formally part of CJP, like student unions, we also consult. So right now, that is how we function, and I think that brings a lot of freshness that people are automatically attracted to as well.
Congress party is already claiming that we are the original cockroaches, and yeah, and we face police brutality much more than cockroach party has been facing.
Right.
And they have they are also doing huge demonstrations.
Absolutely.
But
I think to them, I would say they should not look at us adversarially, because we can be force multipliers for a larger cause, and the cause is a better, just, brighter future. I think we see our roles as just that, as a movement which wants to awaken the youth of this country, because far too long the youth of this country has been bearing the brunt of such a rotten system. So whatever we are trying to do, we are trying to create awareness. We are asking people to come to the front and seek, take responsibility of their future. And that would involve a lot more involvement in politics as well. Because, when there's a tag of politics being attached to anything, people think it's dirty, it's bad, it's negative. But everything in this world is political. If you want a better system, it has to come from the parliament or your state assembly. How are laws passed? It's a political process. It has to be implemented by our, bureaucracy and every other agency. They are creations of the politics of the day. So if the answer itself is politics, why do we not need newer faces, fresher minds into the political system? So that is what we are also trying to do as a political youth movement, which is to bring in fresh ideas and encourage the youth to take responsibility. And if that means greater political representation for them, then that be it. So I wouldn't say that Congress or any other party for that matter should look at us adversarially. We have come with big hearts. We have come with clear intentions. We have come before the country because of issues that have been unresolved. Congress has been in existence for a long time. They might be facing police brutality, but we are also taking huge risks. I've been recently informed by some of my sources that plans are being made for people who are part of the CJP and people who are publicly facing. It's not like the powers that be are going to keep quiet forever. We were frankly surprised when the Delhi police let us, peacefully protest that day at Jantar Mantar. But I don't think that should be held against us because we didn't know what is going to happen, but we still took that risk. And Congress is a huge structure. They are an old party. They have their resources. They have their governments. We have no one for us. So I think rather than seeing at us with adversarial eyes, they should look at us with a lot more empathy also. I think that is missing.
Do you seek a kind of working arrangement with the Congress party?
All our protests
Since
are
it
open
is
appeals. We have requested all political parties to come and be part of it as long as they believe in the right to freely dissent and to peacefully gather, and also are attached to the cause of accountability, of an answerable system, of a clean system, corruption-free system, and the current demand, which is education minister's resignation. So it's not like we can stop any party from coming. We don't want that. We have always said that come without your affiliations, come to support us, the younger generation which is out on the road. Working relationship, I don't know. I mean, we are open to everybody, whoever comes. If the BJP wants to come with these intentions, if that's clear, then they are also most welcome.
Which is not possible.
Which, yeah.
Do you see it a possibility?
Unfortunately, we've become very partisan. Our views have been very, hard-lined, and therefore, even the youth has been actually forced to come out on the streets because Dharmendra Pradhan has been education minister for so many years. So many leaks have taken place under him, yet there is no accountability from their side. Even after the NEET leaks, if News Laundry did an analysis of all his posts on Twitter, not a single tweet on the leaks, not a single tweet on the number of suicides that have taken place of students. No empathy at all. So that is what we are fighting for a better system, because I think the youth is quite fed up of this system, which is absolutely not working for them.
So Saurav, you've taken education as a main primary topic for protests around the country. My question is, why education when there are so many other issues to cover in the country like unemployment, which I'll be in a couple of months, and also communal hate in this country. There are other so many issues. Why have you taken education as the primary focus?
I think the anger that is currently in the youth is for the education failings of the current regime. The NEET paper leak was the immediate trigger because of which that viral tweet happened. A satirical page was created, which ultimately has now turned into a youth-led movement. So it's not like only we chose the education issue. It's actually the education issue that happened because of which we were born. So it's the other way around. And you're right that there are so many issues for sure. But a movement also has to be quite focused. Because then you are able to galvanize people, you are able to give them clear goals, what is it that we are trying to seek. So that messaging has to be very clear when a movement is being run. And therefore education is that, because of all the issues that there is, we have chosen systematically to focus on this sector for now. Of course, in the future, there are so many other issues, unemployment, communal hate, like you mentioned. There are issues with unemployment, with reforms that have to take place in many sectors.
And also
all of that is there, and sadly, that's the issue. In the past so many years, we have missed that bus. How many years have we lost to absolutely no reforms, and how many more years is it going to take to restore a minimum level of good governance? So it's a sad and tragic reality, and fortunately, I think the youth is now realizing what is going wrong, and they are now taking responsibility in their hands.
So I can see you are demanding the resignation of education minister to take he to take accountability.
Yes.
What happens if he doesn't resign with all the protest?
Our demand is his resignation for sure. If he does not resign, then our demand will be even bigger that the Prime Minister should be sacking him from the cabinet. Because if he does not have the decency, I would say, even after being proven as a completely incompetent education minister, because he's been there for so long, and if there are more than 8 lakh people across the country signing a petition launched by CJP asking for his resignation, and despite thousands of young people, youth, students, their parents coming out on the streets in several cities across India, in the capital of India as well, if he does not have that decency to take moral responsibility and resign, I think that speaks volumes about the system that has been created that we are trying to fight against. So if he does not resign, our demand will only get stronger and stronger.
How do you look at paramilitary forces being deployed to transport neat question papers,
Absolutely.
which has never happened in the history of India?
Absolutely.
How do you look at it? Is it the complete collapse of the system?
It's a complete collapse of the governance structure of the country, because Indian Air Force being put to this task of carrying question papers. So we really need to think what kind of education system have we created, or what was existing and what has been destroyed in the past few years. I think we need to, there will come a day of reckoning where we have to come face to face with that question. And I think that day has come. Now that the youth is asking these questions out on the streets in so many cities, I think that day has come and the government has to answer. And truly speaking, for the past many years, you saw the kind of opaque culture being created in our governance structure, be it through the dilution of the Right to Information Act or the appointment of pliant persons as judges in many of the courts, or you see any other institution for that matter where there's complete opacity in their appointments of how they function. I think all of this is symptomatic of a larger ideology which believes in ruling in an autocratic way. And I don't think India accepts autocracy in that manner. I think people are now going to take things in their own hands, take responsibility of their future, and restore minimum levels of democracy that is required.
Is Cockroach Party primarily a youth movement, or do you aspire to, represent broader sections of the society too?
It's primarily a youth political movement. If you're asking me whether we are going to be a political party, I mean, we have no such plans as of now. We haven't thought about it at all. And we want to keep it as a youth political movement because we really need, a force like this, a pressure group like this. We are 65% of the population. If we all unite, then there's no power that is not going to be answerable to us, right?
But you are not close to the idea.
We are not close to the idea at all, and we've just been born. It's just 20-25 days. So I think this question also is quite premature for the stage. We are at a very nascent stage and we are trying to do whatever possible to awaken the youth. But yes, as far as representation goes, we do want a representation from all sections of our society into this movement. We are expanding already. We have a lot of people working in our team. But these are very sensitive times. So we also have to be careful. There are people who are constantly warning us that there will be plants, there will be moles that will be put into our movement that will destroy the movement from within. And we are all, fresh minds. We have no background in doing any of this. We see guidance from people who have been doing this for a while, activists like all of you, activists who've devoted years and decades of their life to their causes. So we also are, we don't want to rush into things. We just don't want to do it for symbolism. We want to actually do it so that we build strong foundations.
Because people have seen, what happened in Delhi, movement against corruption.
Yes.
Later on, it turned into a political party.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So people now maybe skeptic about you.
I think that's a fair skepticism. I wouldn't blame anyone who thinks that way. And we have unfortunately become a very skeptical country because of the conditions that we live in. And that's actually, again, a sad reflection of the times that we live in. So I would really not fault them, but I would appeal to them to, trust in us. We are trying to do our best through whatever resources we have. We are taking support of civil society in wherever we go, and the civil society is also trusting in us. So I would really appeal to the people to give us a chance and see what we are able to do.
Saurav, what's your assessment about current unemployment situation in the country?
I think the kind of focus that is required from the government side, that is not forthcoming. The government believes a lot in hiding things, on hiding what it is doing rather than being transparent. It's as simple as issuing a white paper in Parliament on the unemployment situation. But for some reason, the government does not want to admit that there is a problem like this. There's complete, ignorance or deliberate ignorance from their part.
Have we reached a kind of pressure cooker situation already, or it's still far off?
I don't think it's very far off. I think we are quite there. For 22 million persons to follow a satirical page with a satirical name compared to the present ruling regime's name, I think that itself is indication enough that pressure is quite high.
Building up.
And the government not building up. I think it has already built up to a
Built
great
up.
extent. And I think the government is also cognizant of the fact that there's massive anger, dissent amongst a large population of this country.
So, Saurav, you have been classified as a Gen Z movement, and how do you think you will actually be harmonious with the older generation? What is the importance of older generation to this movement as well?
I think because of our current demands, we've been consulting a lot of people, like I said, from the older generation, people who have devoted their lives, decades to their causes, especially in the education sector. So we have a lot of well-wishers. We all come with our own networks, with our own, understandings. So that way, it's not as though we are completely detached from any kind of advice from the older generation. But we do want to maintain a freshness to the movement, a rawness to the movement, so that there are fresher faces, fresher ideas that are ushered into the system. So a cross-generational collaboration is absolutely necessary in order to maintain some amount of balance, and we constantly strive to do that.
Okay, we can see Sonam Wangchuk sir. He's been in almost all the protests you are taking. How did Sonam sir join your protest, and what is his role in this movement, and what is his role in Cockroach Jnata Party?
I think Sonam sir has been very kind enough to lend his support to this movement, and that is because he has trusted in all of us and this movement that we are doing the right thing and that we do not have any hideous intentions. He has made that clear in his interviews as well. So he is there. He is supporting our cause. He of course is an educationist also, so this is something that is very close to him as well. And he has borne the brunt of this current system as well. He was in jail for 7 months on completely trumped up charges, fake charges. The Supreme Court didn't come to his rescue for those 7 months, even though his detention was completely illegal. So he knows the system. He sympathizes with what a younger generation wants to do, and it's very kind of him to lend his support to the movement.
How does he look Cockroach Jnata Party as? Does he seek future support for his Ladakh protest movement, and how does he seek?
There have been no discussions of this nature with him at all. He has lent his complete, unequivocal support to the movement, and when the time comes, we will stand by him. That is for sure.
Having worked as a journalist, Saurav, how do you assess the role of the current media in India?
The media has been completely co-opted by the current regime. I'm talking about the old mainstream media. So they have been completely co-opted. All these business media houses are owned by businessmen who have so many
Vested
skeletons
interests.
in their closets that they have to hide. And therefore they are so much susceptible to any kind of blackmail from the powers that be. It's because of that that the entire media ecosystem has become so filthy and rotten that only thing that they can ever show is Hindu-Muslim communal politics, Pakistan propaganda, and completely, one-way scandalizing campaigns against individuals who are trying to do any good. So that's a sad state of the media, and a lot of people are now realizing how paid the entire media is. The moniker Godi media is quite famous all over the country now. If you go to any of the protests, including our protests, there are people actually shooing away reporters who belong to these kind of media houses, calling them Godi media, hi, and all of that.
A watchdog turning into a
Exactly,
lapdog.
exactly, lapdog media. So I think people are waking up to that reality. Sadly, it's a lot of years have passed by, but thank God. I mean, they are now realizing what a cancerous state we have reached in.
They matlab people,
Yes, yes.
youth of the country are
Youth of the
realizing
country,
how
yes,
cancerous the mainstream media
it has become,
has been.
and that cancer is spreading all over the country, and our institutions are also failing in containing it. There were hate speech cases in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court didn't bother to follow up after sitting over it for so many years. It closed the hate speech cases. There are hate speeches given by so many ruling regime leaders all over the country. Nothing happened of no criminal prosecution has happened of those. So many journalists have been murdered, so many RT activists have been murdered. It's almost as though the system is fastly crumbling, and people now have that sense that yes, things are going out of hand, and therefore the youth is coming out and trying to take responsibility in their own hands.
How do you look at the alternative media? Is it enough to tackle the regime, which and also the so-called mainstream media has been manufacturing consent in favor of the regime,
Right.
and it is huge.
Yes.
And alternative media is its space is very small.
Right.
Could they can they build a
I think
resistance?
for any revolutionary change, it usually starts with a few group of people who sit together and ideate and bring about a great change ultimately. So the alternative media, or as you people here call it, the new mainstream media, which is a fantastic, brilliant term that I fully support. I think they have created an entire system which is of so much more credibility than the old mainstream media that people actually trust in them, learn a lot from it, and form their opinions based on it. I think that is here to stay because increasingly, because of internet penetration and the newer generation, the Gen Z and everyone after else, they're literally living and breathing on the internet. So it only makes sense that there are more and more of these platforms and organizations coming up on the digital space. And I'm sure everybody will be doing a much better job than what the old mainstream media is doing.
Living and breathing on social
Yeah.
media platforms, you said. This social media, has it been, is it strengthening the democracy, or is it been contributing to polarize the society?
I think a bit of both, because the answer to speech which is objectionable is more speech. So I think the social media sort of gives power to that thought. There are people can freely comment. They can comment anonymously. They're able to keep their peace of mind quite freely, and that is propagated to so many more people so much faster than what it used to be in earlier days. So I think it has democratized our freedom of speech, But at the same time, there's nothing that cannot be misused, right? Everything can be used as a weapon. I have my phone here. This can work as a weapon as well. I can hit somebody's head and break it probably. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a phone. And therefore, social media, of course, can be used in a certain manner to manipulate public opinions, to spread hatred at a much faster rate, polarize society. All of that happens. But I think it's inevitable. The only way is to how do you contain it to the best extent possible, and what is the speech that is coming from the other side. That speech, which must be better, should overpower speech like this.
Saurav, critics argue that Cockroach Party is more symbolic than a practical movement or party. How do you respond?
I think sometimes people just, all they need is hope. And people see hope in Cockroach Jnata Party. I think that's the most important part.
Is it practical?
We are trying to be as practical as possible. We are pulling on our own resources. We are reaching out, putting in all the efforts possible to mobilize people, to organize people, live up to Ambedkar ji's words: educate, organize, agitate. So we've been trying to do all of that, and I think it is coming out really well. The crowds that CJP is able to pull, because people see a lot of hope.
You are
CJP
happy
as
with
a
the
hope.
response?
We are quite happy with the response. Of course, no one can have enough of a crowd. Like, you would want, the entire world to come out and, show their support on the streets for your cause. But whatever crowd we are getting, it's excellent. It's overwhelming. We are always, we just feel that the movement, which has translated from online to offline also, because that was a criticism initially, that it doesn't always translate. Nobody expected 22 million people to show up on the streets when a protest call is given. But in a situation like this, where our civic spaces have been taken away from us, where we've been restricted to one corner of a city, a small patch of land where you can just go from a certain time period to certain time period and rant and protest and then go back home as though everything is sorted after those 4-5 hours in that piece of land. I think in a system like this, for so many thousands of people to come out on the streets, I think that itself sends a great message. So much more can be done, so much more has to be done, but it's not as though everything is gloomy.
So, okay, other than the social media buzz, what are you actually planning, and what are your ideas to implement to reach the grassroots level?
We've been trying. We will be trying to expand much more. We want to organize in a more structured way. We want to create structures within the organization so that mobilizing is easy, agitating is easy, and things flow in a more in a smoother manner. So that is going to be our focus after the first round of these protests settle.
So, other than this, you actually have an interesting thing in your manifesto, the first manifesto you put on your website. You have promised 50% reservation for women,
Yes.
and we cannot see a single person in your spokesperson list as a woman.
Yes.
So, what is your take on that? And also, Abhijit, as I think mentioned in some interview, that you have 25 people team working.
Yes.
So, how many women are there in that?
So there are a lot of women already working with us on the back end. And the issue is, and this is something I've shared with others also, before the first protest at Jantar Mantar on June 6th, the kind of coordinated, targeted campaign that happened against me on social media, especially on Twitter and Instagram, those 2 days were, the ecosystem from the right wing completely filled the internet with negative content. So, and they brought out not just my, whatever history that they wanted to bring out, but also made up stories about my friends, their families, etc. So that kind of campaigns, sends a very chilling message across. So a lot of people, like you said, mentioned, are very skeptical about the movement, are waiting and watching where it goes. And naturally, when Abhijit reached out to 2-3 women to come on as spokeswomen, they declined, but they said that we fully support the movement and will work in whatever capacity possible, but not public facing. It's precisely because the system today does not make it a very conducive environment for women to participate. And it's a sad reality, and this is something, it's a fair criticism that we have it on a manifesto but not seen in the spokesperson's team. But we are working towards it. I think in a few days time we are going to have a very good announcement.
The system is too toxic for that.
Yes. And women also have to be doubly careful, like it's male privilege to just, take risk and do whatever you want in a more freer way. But when it comes to women, there is a concern of heightened concern of security, of online trolling, of, scandalizing targeted campaigns being run against them. So all of this is a concern, and I just wish it was a better system.
It's been extremely patriarchal society.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you plan to expand your activity beyond urban youth? How do you plan to reach out?
I think it's not just the urban youth which is participating in these protests. For instance, at Jantar Mantar, there were students from all over India and people from all over India that had come.
Small cities?
From small cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities, from villages close by. Haryana, there were people from Tamil Nadu, there were people from Karnataka, from Kerala, there were people from West Bengal, there were people from Northeast as well that had come. So it's not as though it's only urban centric or urban focused kind of a thing, because when these sort of papers are leaked, a poor family's child is the only way for that family to come out of poverty. And so they have a lot of hopes pinned on such students. So when a paper leaks or an appointment letter is delayed for years, or when a court case which stays the entire exam is pending for years together, it is those families that are affected the most, not the urban youth. I don't think urban youth is very caring about what happens in a SSC GD exam or something of that sort. So papers are being leaked left, right and center. There's no accountability, and the brunt is being bared by such people from villages, from tier 2, tier 3 cities. So those are the people who are actually coming to these protests. So it is really the original India's protest,
Yeah, if Cockroach Party could implement one major change in India tomorrow, what would it be?
We would want to clean up the education sector for sure. We have a 5-point manifesto. We want to compensate every student that has been affected due to leaks like this. We want to set accountability right. We want to jail all these people who've been responsible, because when you saw the NEET paper exam leak, the persons who were arrested, there was a media footage, where the person arrested was saying that they are catching a small fish, they are not catching the big fish.
Yeah.
So, and the Indian Express report also, which investigated paper leaks in the past many years, it revealed that only 2 people had been convicted, right, in the past so many years for paper leaks. So we want to bring in a more accountable system. We want to compensate students. We want to make better policies when it comes to holding of examination, paper testing for paper examinations. That is something we want to do as well. So yeah,
you have to reach out to students actually, essentially.
Right.
Maybe.
And also, I can see like many other influencers coordinating with you, like Arpit and Vidyusa as well.
Yes.
So, how will be their involvement in this entire ground protest thing, and how will they involve actually?
So they are all fantastic content creators, YouTubers. They've been doing it for years. They have a wealth of experience. So I think they really attach themselves to the cause that we are fighting for.
Okay.
So they do their best to amplify our messages that they think is right. That is the way that they are helping us. Yeah.
So I can see Vijeta Dhaya in your spokesperson list, and he is a close ally with Dhruv Rathi.
Right.
Is there in future, is there any plans for Dhruv to come to India and join CJP?
I don't think so. I think that's a question for Dhruv to answer. But he's doing a great job in any case. His videos during 2024, I think that had a large impact on the general elections.
He's been a kind of youth
Absolutely.
icon.
He's a youth icon for sure. So he's doing a great job. He has a beautiful family where he lives. I don't know if he wants to come back, give all that up and come back. But if he does come back, most welcome. Who are we to say comment on that? Yeah.
So what will be the future of Abhijit Dipki? Will he stay in India or will he go back to US?
No, he's staying in India.
Oh,
yes. There was a narrative in the media that he lives abroad and he's trying to instigate the youth of this country. But he had gone there to study. Before that, he was in India. So he is only returning to India now. And he has returned and he's here for good. He wants to, work on the movement, organize in a better fashion. So that is what he's going to do.
ಸೌರವ್ ದಾಸ್ ಅವರೇ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಮೂಲ್ಯ ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನ, ಯುವಜನರ ಆಶಯಗಳು, ದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. eedina.com ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ವಾಹಿನಿಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಶನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇಷ್ಟವಾದರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಹಿನಿಯನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಲು ಮರಿಬೇಡಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗೋಣ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ವಿಶೇಷ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಲು ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಸ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಯಲು eedina.com ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.